Hello, and welcome to History 112, World History from 1400 to the present, here at Eastern Oregon University. My name is Philip Travis, and I will be your teacher in this course. A little bit about myself before I talk about the class here. I did my PhD at Washington State University, not far from LeGrand, where if you're on site, if you live around Eastern Oregon University, you're of course well familiar with LeGrand. I have been teaching with Eastern Oregon University since 2014, and I used to live in LeGrand as well after finishing my PhD at Washington State University. It's my pleasure to bring you this fascinating class, which very much is a course that tracks the emergence of the modern world. Generally speaking, when we examine the time period of world history from 1400 to the present, we are very much seeing the emergence of the modern world in terms of economics, in terms of cultural development, in terms of politics, in terms of science, technology, and so forth. So this is a really fascinating class, and I know there's some of you that have already taken History 111 with me, World History Part 1. So this will be a nice transition from World History Part 1 into World History Part 2. If you haven't taken History 111, that's fine. You can take this class like this without any problem at all. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun in this class. Subjects that we'll be looking at in this class, we'll be looking, of course, at the emergence of the Western world, of the emergence of Western Europe. The image behind or here behind me, behind my webcam, is a picture that I took from Rome. This is, of course, from the Vatican. This is the Basilica of St. Peter's Cathedral in the Vatican. And, of course, out in front of it, one of the many obelisks that you see throughout Rome. Of course, Egyptian obelisks that were taken, effectively plundered from ancient Egypt. We'll be looking at the emergence of Western Europe. We'll be looking at the massive transformations from pre-Columbian America to post-Columbian America. Columbia refers to Columbus, of course, so post the arrival of Europeans. We'll be looking at events like the absolutely devastating Atlantic slave trade and its effects on African societies, and also how it transformed societies in the American portions of the world. We'll be looking at huge transformations in Asia, in China, in Japan. Very much a world history course, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun in this class. I've traveled the world, not everywhere, but a lot of places. I've been to every continent except Australia, Antarctica, and Africa. Antarctica might be interesting, but I don't see myself going to Antarctica too soon. But I've been to Asia, Europe, South America, Central America, North America, of course. So my point is, I have lots of pictures and lots of videos that I want to share with you to help enhance the learning experience in this class. So let me tell you a little bit about what to expect in this class, and then I'll fill you in on what will be a fun extra credit activity that we'll be doing throughout the term. So in the class, first of all, when you talk about navigating the class, of course you have the home page with my information, the professor, and class information and links. You also have the syllabus, which you need to go through the syllabus, of course. But really, other than those tabs, the area that you really need to be following to navigate this course is modules. If you go into modules, you can simply follow the course week by week. And I don't publish the class all at once, by the way. I publish the course weekly. And so this week's the first week, so you do the getting started module, and then week one will open up. The following week on Sunday, I publish the new module every Sunday. The following week on Sunday, I will open up the next week's modules. And so the class will progress weekly like this. Every week, I make a video announcement like this. And associated with these video announcements, There is an extra credit activity. I'll tell you about that in just a second. The purpose of these announcements is to inform you on what's coming up in the class, what's going on in terms of tests and papers and these types of things. Every week, I also have a recorded video lecture, and that's intended, well, not intended, the purpose of that is for me to provide you with as close as possible to an in-class lecture on an aspect of the subject area that we are studying. And those lectures are PowerPoint videos that I produce. And if you want the actual PowerPoint for that week, just email me and I can send you the PowerPoint that you can kind of go along with as you watch the video. Every week you'll see a readings and assignment tab. There will be a discussion forum every week, and you can kind of follow on in the readings and assignments. It will tell you what the discussion is. There's imagery in there as well as the readings and whatever assignments are due that week. Every week there's a discussion forum, and the discussion forum is designed for us to have a conversation about the things we are reading about in our textbook. Our textbook is called Patterns of World History. Patterns of World History. Second there, I thought I had the wrong textbook. It's Patterns of World History, and the author's last name is von Sivers. And so we'll be reading from that every week. I have some primary source documents some weeks as well. And we also have our recorded lectures. So the discussion forum is designed for us to discuss these topics, to have a conversation about these topics. And for this reason, the rules of the discussion forum are that I want to see individuals active on 2 separate days during the week, and I want that activity to start no later than Thursday by midnight. So you can post a reply by Thursday by midnight, and then post a reply in another day. So I want to kind of encourage it to be interactive. So make sure you start no later than Thursday, and make sure you make 1 post and 2 replies, unless the directions of the assignment state differently. Okay, so we also in this class we have we have 2 paper options. So in this class you're going to write 1 paper. It's a short paper. It's about 2.5 pages. It needs to have 3 academic resources, and the prompts for these papers for the paper will come up later in the term. You only need to write 1, but there will be 2 options to write that 1 paper. The first option will come about midway through the term, and the second option will come at the end of the term. I recommend everyone to do the first option, and that way, if you do really well on it, you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't do well on it, you can take my feedback, and then you can write the second paper. I drop the lowest score, and you can pull your paper grade up that way. So you write 1 short paper, and there's 2 options to do that, and the prompts will be forthcoming in the class as we move forward. There are 3 tests throughout the class. Each test covers the material covered in that period. The final is not cumulative. The tests cover the readings, the lectures, and so forth. And I will post a study guide for each of the exams, and you take the exams, of course, right here in Canvas. The exams are timed to 1 hour and 20 minutes. Give or take. I'll let you know what the time limit is when the test is being announced. Sometimes I give a little bit longer. It just depends on the nature of the test. The tests have multiple choice true-false questions. There's also usually a couple of short essay questions on there as well. But again, there is a study guide for these exams, and you can take these exams in the privacy of your own home, though you want to make sure you're prepared for them because there is a time limit. Okay, so to the extra credit. So in this class, I offer extra credit through these video announcements. And the way this works is I will state an extra credit factoid. And what you do is you watch the video, you hear the factoid. I want you to watch these announcements early so you know what's going on early on in the week and get started in the class earlier than later, because it will enhance your experience in terms of learning. So just let me know what the factoid was, and you get a bonus point added to a test score. So what happens is, in this week's factoid is a little longer, so I'm going to give you extra bonus points. But the way it works is each week you'll get a bonus point for each factoid. At the end of the term, I'll add up all the bonus points, and it'll be more than 10 in this case. And as a result of that, those bonus points, I'll then take all those points together, say 13 points, and I'll add them to one of your test scores. And so it's going to boost one of your test scores at the end of the term. It actually results in being something in the way of about 3 grade points. So it's a significant extra credit opportunity, and I think it's pretty fun. Behind us, by the way, here, this is not the factoid, but I wanted to point this out. The picture you see behind us, as I mentioned, is St. Peter's, and you see the Basilica, the dome, and this is in the Vatican. And I use this picture here because the first thing we're going to be talking about, we are reading chapter 17. We're not starting at the beginning of the book. We'll go back to the earlier chapters next week. But the first thing we're starting with is the Protestant Reformation and the Renaissance. And it's actually that church behind you, that basilica, that was a huge factor in why the Protestant Reformation happened. Because the basilica that you see behind you was very expensive, and it led to the Catholic Church, in its greater domain of Christendom, which was basically much of Central and Western Europe, the so-called Holy Roman Empire. It caused the church to need to raise taxes to pay for that huge dome, which is amazingly impressive when you're inside of that. Um, and in order to do that, they sold indulgences, and indulgences were effectively um, a tax that you paid to the church. And in exchange for that, the Catholic Church suggested that they might be able to speed your deceased loved ones through purgatory and heaven. And that was called the indulgence crisis, and that contributed directly to the Protestant Reformation and a fracturing of the authority of the Catholic Church at the beginning of the 1500s. Okay, so that's not the factoid, though that's very significant in terms of what we will be learning about this week, and that's why I wanted to have you here. Have that here. The factoid is going to come from the video that you see below, which is a video that I made myself, and like I said, I like to share a lot of these videos from historical places. The video's not long; it's just about 6 or 7 minutes in length. However, I think it's very pertinent to what we are going to be discussing this week. So watch that video. And because, this is a little bit longer, it's a welcome announcement. So overall, I'm asking you to watch quite a bit of stuff. Because of that, I'm going to make this first opening factoid worth 4 points. 4 points, okay? I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. 4 points. Watch the video below before the end of the day on Wednesday. That sort of just summarizes the gist of that video. I'll see you in the discussion forum. By the way, replies to my posts also count. So let's have a great discussion. I'll see you in the discussion forum, and let's have a really great term.